For many glass artists, 2020 created an unexpected uptick in sales, creating a false sense of financial security as the 2020 pandemic slowly brought retailers to a halt. For many, this dream slowly turned into a financial nightmare as COVID restrictions began to ease and retail shops once again reopened their doors to the public. While today's marketplace looks a lot different than it did pre-pandemic, new avenues have become available with the push for online sales. But the current state of the economy has caused budgets to become tighter and disposable income allocated to other financial responsibilities. However, for many consumers, new habits were created, now having the ability to order anything online and have it delivered same day or within a few days of their purchase. This includes glass art. Now you may be wondering what this has to do with glass artist sales. So in today's episode, my guest will reinforce the importance of not only differentiating your current lines of work, but also the outlets to where you make it available. This is a Glass Blower's Companion, a Wise Guy Media original, and I'm your host, Jason Michael. Every month, I'll be sharing the journeys and life lessons of glass artists and hope to help you become a successful artistic entrepreneur. This week, we are exploring the world of online sales through Amazon with my guest, Burt Murphy, who has thrived as a glass artist while taking up residence in Mexico. You can find all episodes of the Glass Blower's Companion and all other Wise Guy Media podcasts for free on your favorite podcast app, YouTube, and our home at wiseguymedia.com. If you enjoyed this episode and want to reach out, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. We have all that and more, so stay with us. This episode of The Glass Blower's Companion is brought to you by the Glass Vegas Expo. Glass Vegas brings together some of the greatest glass artists and industry vendors all under the same roof with a respectable and heartwarming vibe unlike any other functional glass art show out there. With opportunities for artists to sign up for educational seminars, glass competitions, and trades, offering more time to mingle and to share the love of a common interest. Stay tuned to their website, glass.vegas, and follow them on Instagram at Glass Vegas Expo. That's at Glass Vegas Expo. All one word. What's going on, Burt? Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me, Jason. I love it. Love what you're doing, man. It's a good podcast.
Yeah, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you coming on and helping me knock the rust off also while we're at this. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to get through this process. Hopefully all the audio levels sound good and be a fun topic because I met you through work. You saw us blowing glass and came in and talked. And I know as most glass artists are addicted to the flame per se, so you couldn't help yourself but come in and start talking. And what was interesting and striking to me is the fact that you live out of the country and you sell most of your stuff through Amazon, and something that I've been interested myself in. I've always preached to the community, like, social media is great to have, but don't rely on it to sell your work. Use it as like a platform to promote yourself. But like, you should have a website or some kind of online market space of some sort. And so definitely interested to pick your brain and help those out there in this so-called bad economy that we have right now. Because for all I know, it is and it's not, because I work in a bubble where people are buying $250,000 castles, so I don't know what the real world's like, really, so maybe you can open my eyes to it. Yeah, man. So how'd you get introduced to the flame?
It's been an awesome, amazing journey with my dad. He started in the early 1960s, and he was on a camping trip in Seattle, Washington as a teenager. He ended up seeing Dale Chihuly work in Seattle.
Nice.
He was watching him, and he was like a 14-year-old kid just stay there all day watching Dale Chihuly. And my grandparents kind of like left him there and they forgot all about him. In fact, they drove back to the campsite and goes, "Hey, where's Rob?" "Oh, we got to turn around and go back and get him. He's back there."
It's hilarious.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And what was really cool is he ends up taking some glass from school, from the science class. He got permission to. He didn't steal it, but I always thought he did. And he got to my grandfather's garage. He was a mechanic, and he had a welder's torch. And he rigged up the welder's torch so that he could make a swan out of glass.
Interesting.
Yeah, 14-year-old kid making this. And so he ended up making more, and he made a bunch of little tiny knickknacks. And he set up a little booth, like a kid would do with Kool-Aid,
a little lemonade
outside,
stand.
sell Kool-Aid. Yeah. Yeah, a lemonade stand. Well, he did that at Gibson's, outside of Gibson's, selling his glass.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it was really cool in Cheyenne, Wyoming. So my grandfather thought they would never make a business out of it, but he wanted to prove him wrong, that this would be a business. And where it went to was amazing. Is he ended up in Golden, Colorado. He ended up working for a scientific glass maker. His name was Homer Hoyt. And if anybody knows who Homer Hoyt is, he was the founder of Glasscraft. He created Glasscraft in Golden, Colorado, which was our supplier for eons. Yeah. And Dad ended up working for him in the 1970s, making barometer swans and other knickknacks, and started from there. And it just grew for Homer. And that's when he made that. I don't know if you ever seen that book. It's like the Glassblower's Bible. It's where you can make the basics, learn how to do the basic work. Well, my dad's work is in that book. There's a laced cowboy in there. They did, and some other stuff. Like I think there's a hummingbird in there. Yeah, there is. There's a hummingbird and a columbine that he makes that's in there. It's a drawing of all that and how to go through the process. This was all back in the late 1970s. Anyways, my dad went out on his own and he left. He ended up migrating to Rifle, Colorado, where I grew up. And growing up, watching my dad in a trailer making glass, and we were literally right outside our window. We could see the Colorado River. And so we just had a great life.
Yeah,
it was a ton of fun. Oh, yeah. It was like, when you see like on Netflix, you see the Stranger Things, the town, like the kids riding their bikes everywhere and doing goofy stuff. And that was my life, my childhood growing up, but with a cool dad who was making glass, and we'd always brag about it to other kids. And it was a lot.
That's rad.
Yeah. But I tried to make it like something that I could do, follow his footsteps. And I got my own National Scout, or no, what's it called? The National Torch.
Like a 3A.
That old, those things were awful. Yeah, that's what I worked on for years and years and years as a kid. I used you can use it for clear glass, but you really can't use it for colored glass. It'll just destroy colored glass. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but that's what I've practiced on for years and years. And I made hummingbirds, and I sold my own line at the age of 16. And I was selling in malls and shopping malls and knick-knack shops and little mom and pop stores in Estes Park and in the mountains of the Rocky Mountains. And what was really cool was I got to share this experience with you. Was so cool was every holiday we would work together, my brother and myself and my dad. He was a single guy at the time, raising two boys. And we were teenagers at the time. We'd go with him to the mall, and we would do those crazy hours of the mall, like from 10 in the morning to 11 at night. We were doing those in October, November, December. We would work our butt off. And my brother and I, we would sell the product, and Dad would sit there in the middle of this booth that we created right in the middle of the mall, right next to the Salvation Army Santa Claus, which would ding his bell every stinking time. Drove us nuts. But we would be there constantly selling, and we learned all kinds of cool stuff. And we were with customers, learning how to handle customers, talk to them, and how to sell, how to take the money at a young age, learning how to count money, which is critical.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, which is surprising. A lot of kids don't know how to do that. Oh, man,
it makes me crazy. Much less they can't even tell the time on the clock if there's hands on it, and if it's not digital.
I know it. Yeah, it's just nuts. Yeah, I run into that with my kids. Like, come on, guys. But yeah, doing a show really can do wonders for a kid. So we did our own shows. We made our own money. Is like, I'm 14 years old and I made $1,000 in 1 month. I mean,
hell yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah. And this is the 1980s. So holy cow, I got my own Nintendo. I got my own snowboard.
Living the high life.
Thinking awesome. Oh yeah, it was great. But it really taught me a lot of life lessons. And now that I'm way older and I got my own kids and doing my own thing, it really, really helps, because I can see how this business, if you're an artist and you don't have anything in you that's not business related, how to run a business, it's going to be really, really hard.
Yeah.
It's sell. It really is. You have to wrap your mind around a business sense. And it's kind of like farming. For me, it's kind of like being a farmer. My other grandfather was a farmer in Wyoming. I don't know how you could be a farmer in Wyoming, because that's just crazy. But he was, and that meant that he was an electrician, a plumber, a roofer, a carpenter. He was in vegetation, irrigation, doing all these things. You got to learn just to be a farmer. Well, in a sense, I kind of apply that mentality as an artist. In order to be a good artist, you got to apply something else to it too, a business mind, a business sense. Yeah. So learning those skills are critical in order to make it. And that's what we ended up doing. And we're semi-successful at it. It's still difficult. It's still hard, but we're trying. It's been good. But going back to that mall, that scene in the mall, I just loved it. I just loved, as a kid, everybody crowding around my dad, watching him making something. Like you do in Disney, yeah. Like somebody comes around and watch you and go, being attracted to that flame, and they want to say, whoa, how do you do that? You don't burn yourself?
And I say yes every day.
Every day, yep. It's really, really fun. And then just enjoying your hard work afterwards that's what we did. We ended up in my late teens, going out of high school, we ended up serving as volunteer missionaries in Ecuador. And we were able to live there off the money we made every year on the holidays from glass, and then go back down and do construction work, volunteer work, and learn Spanish and make new friends. And it was just an awesome life. And then I ended up leaving glass for a while. Dad never left it. He was always a glass artist, always doing it. I ended up getting into IT and telecommunications. I was a telecommunications technician for almost 18 years. But I never left glass as a hobby. On the weekend, I was always doing something.
Yeah, it's hard to get away from it, right? It's always draws you back.
Yeah, it's like in your blood. You got to do it. Yeah.
It really probably is in our blood for as long as we've been doing it for. Literally.
Yeah. The lack of oxygen burning up in the room just does something.
Yeah, the heavy metals, it's lovely.
It's awesome. And yeah, we loved it. And it turned out that moving to Mexico was a blessing in disguise, because I didn't want to move to Mexico at first. It wasn't my choice to go to Mexico. But I married a sweet Mexican gal who was in Colorado, and I was trying to get her papers for 17 years. I couldn't get them.
Jesus.
I've gone from, immigration is an absolute nightmare. And I've gone from lawyer to lawyer to lawyer, trying to get answers. I finally wrote a letter to my congressman, and he wrote back and said, your best bet is to just try to make a life in Mexico and then apply from there. And so that's what I did. I sold everything and came down here.
Wild.
And yeah. And we built a house here, so we don't have a house payment. My kids go to school here, so they're fluent in Spanish and English, which is wonderful. I love that. And then the cost of living is so much cheaper for us. So I can pursue glass full time. I can do anything I want to with glass. Yeah. And so it worked out really well to get into it. The problems here living in Mexico is shipping out and shipping in, learning how to do both of those at a cheaper rate. And really for me, if living in Mexico, FBA with Amazon is the smartest way to go, because I can just ship it from FedEx straight to a warehouse in Tennessee. Cost me $65 for a box, and that box may have 20 pieces in it. So the calculation comes out to be really good for each piece in there. So why not?
Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing now for the last 2 years, and it's been working. It's been really cool.
And the FBA, that means that's really fulfillment by Amazon. That stands for, right?
That's it. Yeah. So there's two. I'll clarify that. So there's two categories. There's FBM and FBA. Okay. Now I do both. FBM is fulfilled by merchant, which means the merchant sends it directly to the customer. And then FBA means fulfilled by Amazon, which means Amazon will send it to the customer. You have nothing to worry about. You just send it to their warehouse, which that means why that's really good is because FBA automatically puts it into Prime category. So any of the Prime customers, they get preference for shipping.
Okay, and that's like the majority of Amazon people too, or
Exactly. So if you get your product into FBA, you're going to get it moving. It's going to move. If it's a good product, it looks good, you've got good descriptions and good photos in there, it's going to move if you're FBA. Now, if you're FBM, you may have a less of a chance. It'll move if your other things are moving, but you may have to push it. You may have to do some social media work to it, marketing work to it. But with FBA, it's a lot less of a headache for advertising. You can get it moving.
Yeah, that's interesting. I just want to kind of back up a little bit before we get too much in the Amazon talk, because I've always appreciated like the fact of what we do as a living, as it gives us a chance to travel and go see the world. And I've interviewed other artists from a variety of places around the world, and I'm always curious about your setup and getting gas and oxygen, et cetera, for yourself. Because of the costs at times, you know what I mean? Like friends in Hawaii that were spending over $150 on a tank of oxygen that may last in 12 hours, but living in Mexico, it's a whole nother situation. So I'm just kind of curious, like, as far as, I'm sure regulations there are a little bit different, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Maybe they just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't really, but getting yourself situated and set up, like how do you go about the oxygen and propane? Do you have like a home oxygen set up for yourself, or what are you doing with that?
No. Actually, I became really good friends with my oxygen provider. He's a really cool guy. He distributes for welders all around this area where I'm at. I'm south of Mexico City, about an hour and a half in the city of Cuernavaca, and Cuernavaca is just gorgeous. It's beautiful here. It's eternal springtime here. Right now, it's rainy season, which it only rains like 1 hour a day every day for the next 3 to 4 months, which is perfect. Yeah. But 3 hours south of me is Acapulco, so we get to go to the beach and hang out. And it's nice. I mean, it's got its ups and downs. There is crime here, but it's not as bad as what people make it out to be. Mm-hmm. But going to my supplier, my oxygen supplier. Really nice guy. I got to know it's a mom and pop operation for him. Him and his wife run the business, and they go and fill my tanks for me, and they bring it directly to my house. So I'll order 3 tanks of oxygen, and it'll cost me, I calculated it yesterday, it cost me roughly around $45 a tank.
Okay.
And so $45 a tank, and he brings it up to me. And what's really funny is he'll bring it sometimes in his Volkswagen or in his Bronco.
Amazing.
It's not like the United States where, they got an armored vehicle to bring it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's really, really flexible. He can bring it anytime I need it. And to keep that business relationship going, we've invited him over for barbecues and tacos. He's invited us over to his place. And that's really another thing that I did with my FedEx guys, because Federal Express here is pretty reliable. I recommend using only Federal Express. Don't use UPS. Don't use DHL. And the reason why is because every time I've used them, it doesn't matter where you are in Mexico, there's either a 5-finger discount going on inside your box that you're shipping, or they're drop kicking it, like what's that movie, Cable Guy with Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Oh yeah, every single time I've sent something's broke with DHL or with UPS. So FedEx, they rock. And they know how to do the customs very well. I know it's more expensive, but I calculated it for everything that I use, and they do a really good job with it. So because of that, I'll do every quarter. I'll send them a pizza to say thank you for working so hard for me, because customs is not easy. And if you can find somebody to do customs for you, you've got a friend. You got to keep them as a friend. Make them happy.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. I've had to ship stuff to Canada before, and it's like just across the border, but it's so much hoops and paperwork you got to fill out. It's annoying.
Oh yeah.
Figuring out the cost of, like a lot of times I'll just write on there it's a gift, maybe value like $5, to save my clients from having to pay a couple $100 in taxes on the stuff.
Oh yeah. It's a nightmare, and it was for us too. It still is. We're still working on stuff like that. And receiving glass, like trying to get your glass supplies. Now, what we did for a while when we first got here was we'd call up friends who are coming down, and we'd ask them, could you take a pound with you? Could you take a couple pounds of glass with you? Yeah, sometimes they'd say yes, sometimes they'd say no. But when business is really rolling, you need that 2-3 pounds coming in every 2-3 weeks. So I applied for a company outside of in Texas, outside of Mexico border, real close to the border on Brownsville. There's a company called American Ship, and they truck it in, and they'll drive it right to my house.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I'll have, like, let's say, my glass supplier there in in North Carolina, they'll ship it to those guys in Texas, and then those guys truck it in. Customs is never a problem with them. So it's like stinking awesome. And the cost is really reasonable. I'm really surprised. Like, last week, I shipped in a pound of Amazon Night. Amazon Night cost me like $39 for a pound, I think. And I think it was $39. To get it to me, it only cost me $21.
Heck yeah.
Altogether.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
It really is a good way to go. I know if I lived in another country besides Mexico, I know it would be harder for me. I know it would be way harder getting supplies.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's always my thought. It's because glass rods are 4 feet long usually if you're buying clear stock. So it's like pay deal with that.
Oh yeah, and that's another thing I found. I found like a couple of glass companies. I call them up and I tell them my situation. They'll cut them down for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is way cool.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, it really is. It's a really good thing. The other day, the thermocoupler clucked out on me. And that coupler, it goes to the controller on my kiln.
Yep.
And I had to order that part here on Amazon, and it cost me $21, and I got it the next day.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So
who would have thought?
Not?
It's 2023. Here we are. It's amazing.
Yeah, in Mexico.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm literally in the heart of Mexico. I mean, I see donkeys down the street.
You got a drone flying down the road dropping off your supplies to you.
Yeah, seriously. I can see visions of three amigos here.
Right, I'm sure. Just so with your dad next to you, so is your dad still cranking out the glass too?
He is. He's still doing Etsy. He has like, oh my goodness, like 130 different pieces on Etsy. So, and he's doing great.
Wow.
He's still cranking it out. Yeah. He's 72 now, but still super healthy, still strong, he exercises every day, but he's talking like eventually I'm going to have to take over.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mind that, but I just still see him as 35. He's still one of those guys that he takes good care of himself, and his work ethic is pretty amazing. I love it. He wakes up early in the morning, and I think he took this from did you ever see Mylon Townsend, glass artist?
Oh yeah, I'm very familiar.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So he talked with Mylon Townsend back in late 90s. They were working together a bit in Golden, Colorado. They did a class together. They were teaching together and Mylon was telling my dad, and I was there listening to it. He says, yeah, his work ethic is he gets up at 4 a.m, exercises a bit, and then does glass until noon. And then the rest of the day he spends it with his family. And that's inspiring because he'll throw a rock at my window, a little pebble at my window at 6 o'clock in the morning and say, hey, come on over, get a coffee.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. I love it.
And the coffee down there's got to be amazing.
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you, I got this coffee from about 2 blocks away. Is this guy that he gets coffee from different parts of Mexico, like Veracruz, Oaxaca, Chiapas, and he blends them together. And oh my goodness, it's mind-blowing good.
Yeah, it's
when
yummy.
You blend them all together.
I used to get my ex-wife, her mother still lives down in Honduras. Well, I guess now she's in Guatemala. But back then we used to get our beans from Honduras, and it was just, I still to this day, some of the best coffee I've ever had.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's and the food here, I got to tell you, man, the food here is mind-blowing. They have I do this on my YouTube channel. I just put it up. I went to the town plaza, and they close off every weekend on Saturday. They close off a portion of the street just to sell food and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. And there's this seafood market that goes there every Saturday. Cost me $5 to get shrimp empanadas that'll blow your mind.
Yeah,
I'm telling my wife, this would cost $30 easy in the United States.
Yeah,
easy.
Yeah,
$30.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and the taste is so good. I mean, it's just you can tell it's fresh. Everything is just mouth-watering fresh. So I'm like,
fresh and authentic.
Yeah. It's really amazing. Down from me about a mile or so, there's a bread store, and they copied this bread store. I've got a friend here who's from Denmark, and he said, yeah, this bread store is exactly what you would see in Denmark.
Huh.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things around here that are influenced by Europe. You see it a lot. Like you try to go to a bathroom and you ask for ¿Dónde está el baño? Where's the bathroom? And you'll see the sign that says WC. Like, why would it say WC? What stands for water closet?
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah. Like, what? Yeah, and this a lot. And the other thing that's crazy here, you'll find where I'm at, in this area, when you go on the highway, you drive on the highway to Mexico City or to go to Acapulco, it's common to see a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, Maserati, Bentley, you name it. And I don't understand it. It blows my mind because driving here is nuts. It is crazy.
Yeah, I know when I was in Honduras, man, like driving on those roads there, it was the same thing. Like people walking on the side of the streets. You got these little tiny ass streets, roads on the side of the hills, the mountains and stuff. And dog walking everywhere, the occasional iguana jumping out in front of you, you know? Like, I remember.
Exactly, yeah.
So do they drive on the same, like, is it like the same side of the road as in America, or is it European style?
Uh-huh.
How do they drive there?
Oh, yeah. It's American. They drive like American, but same direction. But I kid you, there is no. They don't enforce laws and regulations. They don't enforce you to go learn how to drive. They just give you, like, you pay $35, you can get your license. And basically, some of these guys have learned from Mario Kart on Nintendo.
I'm sure.
I'm convinced of it.
Sounds like how I drive.
It's crazy. Yeah.
That's so funny. Well, I remember the first time I went down to St. Thomas and we came out of the airport in the van. And we pull the airport, and we're driving the opposite side of the street like we do here in the States, and I was not expecting that. And I'm in the front seat, and we got a van full of people. I had no idea who these people were, and I'm in the I put my hands on the glass, man, and my feet up on the dashboard, like, holy shit! I thought we were about to get in a head-on collision with this van coming towards us, because I realized we're driving on the opposite side of the road. And everybody starts laughing.
Yeah.
It was a funny, embarrassing moment. What the hell?
Oh yeah. And you find that stuff here, like it's no problem to drive on the opposite side of the road. No problem if you do. You know, in these back roads here. Yeah, it really doesn't matter. There really is any way you want to drive, however you want to drive. You just drive. Yeah,
and they don't use their horns because they're assholes. They use their horns because they're communicating to each other. You know, like it's it's interesting.
Oh yeah. This is amazing. Like to say thank you, it's just a little tap, a little beep, thank you, beep. Yeah, if they're mad, if they're really mad, they will lay on the horn, and then they will roll down the window and yell at you.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, I love it. And you know what else is really crazy? I got to tell you about this. Is kind of going off topic about glass, but I got to tell you this. If you're driving on the highway and they turn their turn signals on to the left, and there's nobody there and they're not moving, what they're doing is they're telling you to go ahead and go around them.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is really weird.
Yeah, it is. I would just be sitting behind them like, come on, go. Oh, wait.
Yeah, go. Wait, aren't you turning? What's going on here? No, they're telling you to go ahead and turn around.
Interesting.
Turn or go behind. You pass them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to know.
That's really cool.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah. So back to glass.
Yeah.
Going back to Amazon, I think that would probably be a good thing to go back to. If anybody sets up with Amazon, it is a process at first. You get set up with them. They take their time to make sure that you're legit. You don't have to be an LLC at first.
Okay.
When you're under handmade, if you apply as handmade, you don't have to have a brand registry. They encourage it. They give you about a year to try to get your brand registered. And unfortunately, I'm still not brand registered. I haven't done it yet. I'm going to. I'm going to get it done soon. But it's really nice because if you're any other entity in Amazon, you have to be brand registered right away.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So that's a blessing there. But they do help you with the process. They want you to have insurance. So at least $1 million in coverage, which I end up paying like $45 a month for my insurance coverage.
Okay. Is that just like a liability insurance?
Yep. Liability insurance. Yeah. But that comes with the territory, I guess. But the other thing too, it was really nice is like if you get returns, you can circulate that right back into the system. No problem. It's really cool. You do have to watch it with Amazon. They are super strict on how you take care of your customer. So for example, if a customer reaches out to you and says, hey, where's my product? And you didn't see the message, and let's say you let it go by 24 hours, you're going to get dinged by Amazon, and they may slow your sales way down, if not shut you down.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So you got to be very careful. Be on top of them. Watch them because they'll pull something like that on you. So make sure that you're taking care of your customers at all cost, no matter what. and what, like, for example, for me here, what I had to do to set it up so that this business works is I have to have on the other end in the United States, I have to have an address, an actual address that they can ship all my returns to.
Okay.
And so my grandparents and my uncle take all my stuff in Colorado. And when I'm doing FBM, facilitate by merchant, I'll send it to them. And so when they see the shipping label, they'll see that address in Colorado. They don't see Mexico. They don't know it came from Mexico.
Interesting. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it makes it look like a legit. Wait, it is legit. It's just there's a little part that they don't know about, which is okay. And what I like is, like, my uncle takes care of most of it for me, and my grandma, bless her heart, she's 92. She's still driving. And we're talking about bad driving, right? But she's doing good though. She does really, really good. She drops off all my stuff at USPS.
Huh, nice.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you, Grandma.
So when you get returns, is that just people that just didn't want the product, or is it like damages, that kind of stuff like that?
It can be both. Okay. It can be both. Yeah. And as long as I make the customer, or help guide the customer to help them be happy, they'll do a refund or make a new one for them. That Amazon is cool with it, just as long as you respond within 24 hours. Okay. And they really like it when you respond within the hour. So that's critical. Yeah.
Interesting. So as far as your product line, do you have like a little package that each individual piece goes into, like that has your branding and that kind of stuff, so it has like a professional look to it, or like how do you do about that kind of stuff?
Yeah. That's another thing. That's one of the reasons why I wish I was in the United States, is because you got great packaging systems. Here I have to go find my own packaging, and it's a little harder, so I just decided to go simple. Packaging is not the fanciest. So what I did is I made a custom stamp on my packaging, and the stamp looks cool. And then I put inside, now this is really good for reviews, because you definitely want to start your business. You want to get good reviews as quickly as possible. And that'll really carry out your business. So what I do is I make a little card, a really professional looking card with a cool scene of the beach and the ocean and glass and fire. And then on the back, it says, "Thank you for purchasing from this glass artist family." And I just want to show my appreciation and say thank you. That's all I say. I don't say on that card, "Please leave a review," because if I did, Amazon would shut me down.
Ah, fascinating, because you're kind of like, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah, it makes sense. But I'm hinting at it with that card. I'm just saying, thank you so much. In fact, you can even go further. You can say, "Hey, if you like this, you can, I can give you a coupon, and if you go to this spot, this special page, and this special page, you can encourage them to leave a review on the special page."
Okay.
Yeah, but not in the box. You cannot say anything on that box. So I just leave it like that, and it's been working so far. I'm going to get fancier. I want to get fancier with it later on, make beautiful looking packaging, because that really does attract customers. They really appreciate that, and they come back and they buy more. And I plan on making something really cool, like kind of with gold lettering on the logo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a site actually the other day when I was, we're talking about this. It's called Box Genie is the website. Hashtag not sponsored here, maybe one day. But you can go on there and customize, and pick out your size box. They actually also match pricing out there, which is nice, because I was going through looking at different companies, and there's various prices out there. But you can literally look at this 3D graphic of a box, and you can put your label and all your stuff. You can close the box, open the box as like an animation, so you can see how it looks, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, it's pretty slick. It's called,
man,
Box Genie, and it's online.
Box Genie.
Yeah, it's
okay. I got to check it out because that may work for me. The thing is crazy is I went to get my boxes yesterday, 35 cents for a box. It's like, yes, I keep it cheap, cheapskate. But
yeah, that's the way to go. Because these ones are like $2.50 a box, but again, it's
oh my goodness,
super labeled and priced and looks pretty.
Right. And that's the idea. That's what you want, because you really want to make customers like you just want to give them that feeling like this is glamorous. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's the whole like under promise over deliver kind of idea.
Exactly. Now what I plan on doing is when my business picks up more, I live about an hour and 20 minutes away from the largest silver mine in the world. It's the town of Taxco, Mexico. And Taxco is up on a mountainside, and it's like you walk into like a Greek city or a Greek town. Every building is painted white with cobblestone roads everywhere, and it's all in a mountain. And the silver there, you get silver jewelry, and silversmiths there are phenomenal. I'm telling you, man, it's incredible. And so my goal is, I've been talking with some of the silversmiths I became friends with. They can infuse the glass with silver. Mm-hmm. So I kind of want to do both. I want to make the glass piece and then have them make silver around it. Like, for example, a sea turtle. Just make the body of the sea turtle, and then I make the shell, which has a gorgeous implosion inside, and sell that as a necklace. And oh my goodness.
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
That would rock.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah. Huh. I love it. Very cool. Yeah, it's a lot of cool ideas I've got out there here to inspirational ideas, and just and color makes it happen.
Yeah, I'm sure, because I know a lot of the jade jewelry down there too is real big, and I loved like the hand carved jade stuff. It's just incredible. Stuff.
Yeah. I saw this. There's this lady in Hawaii that I've been watching her work, and she makes these glass blown sea turtles. She makes the shell, and then she makes the silver and the gold. And I'm not knocking her stuff. Her stuff is great stuff. She does a good job, because it looks like the Hawaiian Islands inside the glass, which is really cool. But man, I'm telling you, you can pull off just inside the shell. There's so many cool patterns you can pull off. I mean, just with the frit nowadays that we get, like with Blue Moon, Amazon Night, purple colors, the amber purples. Yeah. Just, oh man, encasing that in a shell, or just doing diachroic, or even silver fuming and gold fuming, just mind-blowing cool with the spiral pattern. Oh yeah, you can do a lot out of that.
Yeah, it's like a blessing and a curse as an artist, Yeah, it's like so many things we can make. God,
I know it. And then that's the thing that's the problem is you have to funnel it down to something you can do realistically right now to make money.
Yep.
So you can pay the bills. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's always a challenge.
Fun struggle. Yeah. So with the Amazon, I'm kind of curious too with the marketing, because I know like with Etsy, I had a friend of mine that was selling. He was doing like hand engraving on glasses and beer mugs and stuff, and he was finding like his sales were great, but then through Google listings, if someone clicked on and went directly to his website to purchase the item, even though it was through Etsy, it was still like an Etsy link on his website, he would get the full sale minus Etsy's fees. But if someone clicked on the Google link that then sent them to the Etsy site, which then sent them to his online market space, he was also then charged a percentage for that Google listing, which he didn't list himself, but Etsy listed it, And he started seeing it was like almost like $400 a month was coming out of his pocket, because people were clicking on the Google link and not his actual website or his personal Etsy link. Is the Amazon thing the same? Are they similar kind of association kind of thing with that?
It kind of, yeah. It doesn't really associate with Google. So if somebody finds you on Google, they don't charge you for it, but you got to watch it, because like, let's say you set up in your pay-per-clicks, you've got keywords that you set up, and you manually set up your own campaign. And then you set up an auto campaign, because that's what everybody tells you on YouTube. Set up an auto campaign because it works great, and it does. But here's the problem. You've got the two running at the same time. And so they'll find a keyword. Let's say they find glass pendant. So somebody types in glass pendant, and they see your work and they click on your work. You're going to get charged double because you have it in your automatic and you have it in your manual campaign.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So what you have to do, which is a blessing from Amazon, you have to create a negative keyword.
Oh.
So in one of those. Yeah. So that way you don't get charged double.
Interesting. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And it'll save your bacon big time.
Huh.
Because if you don't do that, I'm telling you, man, I lost in Christmas last December. Like I said, I made $10,000 worth of product, and I only got $1,000 back.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And it's because of stupid stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you made all the mistakes to teach us. So
yeah, that's what I'm hoping to do. I hope to. I'm opening up a YouTube channel right now while I'm working on glass, just to talk about stuff like this.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that if fellow glass blowers out there are having difficulties, to either go here to your podcast or come to my YouTube channel, just to get little tips and tricks to help stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll definitely link it up at the end on your show notes for sure.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah, because Amazon, they don't. I mean, they want to help you, but it feels like they don't. And the reason why I say it feels like they don't is because they're just so big.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at the numbers of this. Etsy pulled off $1.7 billion in 1 year, whereas Amazon is pulling in $2 billion every month.
Yeah, it's insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember listening to an interview with the original CEO, founder of Amazon, and they were talking about how when they were just selling books early on, that's all they did. It was like an online library basically. And every time they'd get a sale, they had a little ding that would go off, a little bell.
Yeah,
and every so many hours they would get a ding. Eventually that ding turned into just like a flat line beep, and where they had to cut it off because it was making them all fucking crazy. Like, it's like, oh, this is amazing, but yeah, now we're all going insane. So crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. I love it. That's exactly how it is with Amazon, and that's what you got to think of. And that's the other thing you have to kind of plan for, is you might blow up. I blew up. When I went to visit you, I was able to go on vacation to go to Disney World to visit my daughter because my Amazon page blew up. I mean, I hit like 19 sales in one day, and this was going on for 5-6 days.
Amazing.
And and I couldn't keep up. I had to shut things down just to help keep the orders going out, so that way I can keep up. And that kind of is a worry with them. But if you're in the United States and you're planning on doing Amazon, it shouldn't be too bad. If you're in another country though, and you got to get it out there to them tomorrow.
Yeah. Different story.
Yeah, it's a different story. Yeah.
So, because I know,
exactly.
Amazon has their fulfillment centers all over the damn country. So, your stuff just goes to one specific fulfillment center, and then that one distributes your product out to the rest of the people, right? Is that in terms of orders?
At first. Yeah, at first.
Okay.
At first. So they're getting a feel for you at first. So your first Amazon FBA shipment is going to take a little more time than usual. It took me about 3-4 months for my Amazon shipment to get completely in the system. And then once it's in the system, my next one took a week to get in.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, which is awesome. But then I start getting sales, and then the sales start getting higher and higher. So they start saying, okay, we need, instead of 24, this next time send us 48. So I send them 48. And so what they ended up doing is they ended up taking 24 of those to one warehouse and 24 to another warehouse.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so they start distributing more and more by the calculations of your sales. So the more sales you make, the more warehouses you're going to be in.
Yeah, it makes sense. I was kind of wondering that with inventory and overhead, because like I've heard stories with Walmart, for instance. They actually will go to a company and say, hey, we're going to pay you this much money for your product, and you need to manufacture and produce this amount of product, daily or annually or whatever the hell it is. And if they can't do it, then they don't get the sale, and they're missing out on potentially billions of dollars. So I was kind of curious if Amazon set their numbers like that. Because
they do.
You got to be able to produce.
Yeah, like they're telling me right now, I need to send them 75 tomorrow. I'm like, I can't. but yeah, they tell you, they will let you know right when you go to the homepage, we need 75 more of these.
Yeah,
it's great. Okay,
it's killer. But you don't get paid though until they have the actual sale occurs, right?
Yeah, that's another issue. I'm glad you brought that up. That's one thing as a glass artist. If you need money right now, Amazon is not the way to go. Try something else while you're building up your Amazon. Get another way to make income, and then build your Amazon at the same time, because they can take up to 3 weeks to get your paycheck.
Okay.
Yeah, and the reason for it is there's a couple of reasons why Amazon does that. One is they're holding your money in case there's a return. And the other reason is any of the fees, any of the advertisement, things like that. I feel like they hold it way too long. I think that's terrible. I want my money now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know if my stupid advertisement, I'm going to make a mistake in my advertisement and not put in a negative keyword in, and all of a sudden get charged double. I don't know if that's going to happen. So I end up the next day, I'm thinking I'm going to get $1,000 tomorrow. I go and look tomorrow. Turns out I'm only getting 500.
Yeah, interesting. So because like most of the sites like Etsy and the big cartels and stuff of the world, you do a sale and they automatically take out the percentages of their fees right from your thing. Yeah. And then you can cash out right away if you want. You know?
Yeah. And they say, and I found out, I felt like this is fraudulent with Amazon. I felt like truly this has got to be horrible. Turns out it's not. It's actually the way they've been doing business since the beginning. And so this is where you have to really educate yourself on your payments, where your money is going and what's happening to it. So you have to know all those stupid little nuances beforehand.
Yeah, and then also understand their vernacular that Amazon uses so you can communicate with them properly and not go to them sounding ignorant.
Yeah.
Huh, it's so crazy. So
it is.
I was kind of curious too, because like myself personally, I'm an Amazon affiliate, right? So when I started this podcast, because I want to be able to put links on my website so people can buy things, and I make a small percentage on that sale, kind of deal.
Yeah.
So do they give you the opportunity as a seller to create affiliate links for other people to help promote your work and then make a small percentage on your sales too, or is it something that you would use for like your own website, instead of, because I'm kind of curious, like as far as like traffic, like how do they find your thing? Like they go in there and they type in glass pendant and then, you got 400 small shops pop up, or do you have a direct website type thing?
That's a great question. Now for me, what I found, so I have my own website with my dad. We partnered together on Shopify. We have our own gallery, glassandfire.com. And I can't really take and advertise something in there unless I create a blog. If I create a blog and I show something and I can create a link to Amazon in the blog from the website, but I can't really connect it, but I can promote it. I can promote it all day long on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, no problem. But if getting an affiliate, that's the next step for me, is trying to find an affiliates to promote my work, or I can promote their work. I'm not very good at that, and I really want to learn. It just seems like I don't know why with Amazon, some people say it's super easy, but then I go look at it and it seems super hard.
Yeah, like I saw some dude with an ad yesterday. He's like, I use Chat GPT, and this is why I said, hey, blah, 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 and it's set up for me, and I'm making $1 million a day. Fuck you, I'm like, dude,
exactly.
This is a bunch of clickbait bullshit.
It's not fair.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's like one dude and a million people.
Yeah, and it stuff like that drives me crazy. There's something else I was going to tell you. It was really cool about Amazon. This is awesome about Amazon. Amazon will let you warehouse your Shopify or big commerce stuff with them.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So let's say you're in Mexico like me, and you're with Shopify, and you've got a great thing going with Shopify or with big commerce or whoever. You can store it in their warehouse.
Interesting.
And it's not expensive. Like if you're doing jewelry like I am, it's like the cost to warehouse to store is like 10 cents a month.
So if someone goes on your Shopify and orders something, Amazon then sends the product to that customer?
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. So cool.
That's smart on Amazon's part. I mean, holy shit, they're getting something from everything out there. It seems like even more so than I thought they were. Holy cow.
Yep. Yeah. So for us artists, I mean, the sky's the limit when you got stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because you can do your own custom stuff and put it there, store it there. It's not on Amazon.
Huh. Yeah. So it gets me thinking. So there's early on in this podcasting stuff, like I was talking about, I was trying to get affiliate stuff going, and there's a website. Yeah. I think they still exist. It's called kit.com, and you basically can go on there and put together like another podcaster I listened to, which I learned this from. He had like a book series, like he recommended 6 books, and you would go to this link that he created through this kit.com that had all 6 books. They were through Amazon, and if you bought the books, he would get a small affiliate percentage of that sale. And
that's awesome.
Right. So like I put together this kit for like live streaming in your studio, like with the backdrop and, whatever lighting and a camera setup, etc. And they were individual things, but it was a kit that I had created. And so I was kind of thinking, if that's another option, I would think. But I don't know if you have to be an Amazon affiliate first to then have access to, because I know like when I log into my Amazon account, I have to differentiate between being a customer or being an affiliate, which website am I going to have access to per se?
Right.
So I was just kind of curious, for you personally, that might be another option for, selling like little jewelry kits, type thing.
Oh yeah. That's a really great idea. I was thinking about that, like doing necklaces and doing rings and doing earrings, making earrings. Yeah. A whole set like that would be really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, something to think about, and just like it's kind of curious as options, because again with Amazon, it's so easy. My wife's just like, I'd send her a link. I was like, I need some sneakers, and we could spend 3 days going around all these stores looking for shoes. I know the kind of shoe I like to wear. I send her a link on Amazon. Next thing I know, I got a pair of shoes in my house the next day, and I didn't have to even leave my home and spend time going around dealing with the madness of the world out there and people. But yeah, man. So yeah, it's an interesting struggle because so I went to Las Vegas 2 years ago, did a trade show for my first time, and like going into it, I had a couple ideas on how I wanted to approach the situation, and so I approached it by I brought samples with me and took orders, and I brought samples of things that some of the stuff I made on a regular basis, some things were stuff I made one of, and instead of just selling that piece as like a one-off, I'm like, I can make more of these, because in my brain, I'm like, I'm optimistic. I can make whatever the fuck I want to make. And which turned into a complete nightmare, and I'm still trying to fill these orders, and it's been over a year and a half now that these customers are still waiting for their shit. Like I'm at a point now where I may end up just giving them refunds on their orders, which I hate to do, but I'm like, it's gonna. I'm in this limbo because of it. Like I haven't posted on social media. I haven't shared all this stuff because like when I post on Instagram, for instance, I'm like, hey, look what I made, and a lot of people don't realize I'm making this at work, not in my own personal studio. So I feel guilty posting this stuff that I want to share because I've got other people waiting for their glass. You know what I mean? So it's been like this weird dichotomy limbo space for me. So, getting into this kind of situation, like you're saying, like Amazon's now saying, hey, we need 75 of these things. And it's like, well, shit, if I don't get these done, are they going to potentially shut your shop down, or do they like lessen your exposure out there?
Right. So that's a good question, because if you run out of stock, let's say you run out of stock, they will slow down the pace of customers looking at you.
Okay.
So that's why when you look at my Amazon page, I only have like 6 or 7 items. Whereas my dad has like 130 on Etsy. It's
Right.
crazy on Etsy. Yeah. And Etsy promotes that. Etsy wants you to get like diverse and make hundreds of different things. Whereas Amazon, you can get away with just one thing. So when you do it, when you're creating something for Amazon, you got to be sure that you can crank that sucker out a lot.
And that you want to on top of that.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like happy. I'm happy to make these over and over again.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, because a lot of artists out there don't. They're like, yeah, I don't want to do production. And it's like, well, go get a job at McDonald's because, good luck. It's like, it's tough to, be an artist making one-offs.
Yeah, exactly. So if you can find that piece, and that's what I do in my descriptions, is I explain, because you do get those customers out there who say, oh, I want the one that's in that picture. I want it exactly like the picture. There is no way on this earth I can give you the one exactly like the picture. Make one. Yeah. It's literally impossible to make the same granular color and shape and style look with. Now the proportion is exactly the same. But to get that, like when you're using frit and you make that color come out, that's what makes it so stinking cool. It's unique. Trying to explain that to a customer and get them to understand that concept, I don't know why it's hard for me, but it seems to be hard for some of these customers to understand that you're going to get something that's really cool. It looks way better than the picture.
Yep.
So don't worry about it.
Yeah, and that's the trick, is to tell them it's going to look better than the one in the picture.
Yeah.
So funny.
It kills me.
Well, yeah, man, because I know, like, even over at the Mouse House, like when I was working in the hot shop, we had this kind of a tree kind of display we had for ornaments on the wall, and they were basically all of our rejects that we couldn't sell. And we would have guests that would walk over there and like, yeah, I want this one looking just like this one. I'm like, okay, well, that one's up there because that one's a reject, and it's going to be impossible to remake a reject, kind of thing. So I'm just pulling it off the wall and just dusting it off and giving it to them instead, because they have expectations that are unrealistic. And I get it.
Oh, yeah.
They get excited. They see something. They want to, the same thing. It's like, well, I'm not a machine. I'm not a mold.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and that's what's nice about Amazon is if you can find that one thing that you do well, just keep doing that. Yeah. Over and over again. Do it well. And I found, like, for me, my sea turtles are just way, way better than what they were last year. Thanks to those orders on Amazon, they're coming out phenomenal, each one.
Exactly.
So I'm like,
100%.
Yeah, it's really cool. So for anybody out there who's thinking about doing Amazon, I do recommend it. You just be ready for some of the headaches and the heartaches with it. Be prepared with it. Have something else running to get you some money because of the slowness of getting money with them. But once you get the ball rolling, once that the stone is rolling down the mountain, it can create some really good revenue for you.
Yeah, it sounds like the momentum that it does, like you're saying, takes a while, but it definitely, those little seeds you plant will definitely bring lots of fruit in the end, especially during the holidays. I mean, it seems like Amazon it's Christmas every fucking day for them. People are just, like you're saying, the amount of money they make. It's
yeah, exactly. Oh, and that's another thing I found about handmade is a complete different department where, like, how like Amazon will promote themselves and let's say we're having Amazon Prime, everybody shop on Amazon Prime. You know what? That really doesn't apply to handmade people like us because, they're looking for that, what is it, the iPod or the Casio calculator or something stupid. They're not looking for this.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that being said, if you sell through Prime, because a lot of stuff on Prime is discounted, do they also discount your merchandise if that is what happens?
Well, here's what's funny about that is I don't ever discount.
Okay.
I mean, I do occasionally. Sometimes I'll discount, but it's rare because I'm trying to get my numbers back up. So I may do a discount here and there, but hardly ever. In fact, I did an experiment on pricing because pricing was another issue I had. And I think it's an issue with all glass blowers out there. Yeah. I don't know, but pricing your work. I had a really good friend of mine from Denmark, lives close to me here. He's nuts. I love this guy. He's a clown, a lot of fun to hang out with. And he was telling me that when he did business in Denmark, he tripled the price of everything that he did. I'm like, why? I feel bad doing that to my glass. And he explained to me, no, just run an experiment and try it. So I did. I ran an experiment on one of my sea turtles, and I put it up for double the price. And I was scared. I thought nobody's going to buy this. 4 people bought that week.
Yep. Yeah, it's so weird, man. The psychology of sales, because I find the same thing, and it's the stuff I've studied and shows I've listened to and business people I've talked to, and also having with bringing up Dale Chihuly from the beginning, and like over in St. Pete where I'm from, and we had the Dale Chihuly collection it was the first permanent collection. I got to work there for a couple of years and blah blah blah, but studying his marketing, to me, I don't know if he did all of his marketing. I know early on he did, but as far as it is now, the guy's he's a marketing genius. But like from what I understand, like his very first show he ever did, his own solo show, he didn't sell shit for like the first week. Like nobody was buying any of his work. And he went in there and someone told him, like, dude, go raise all your prices. So he put a 0 next to everything in his there, and he sold out in like a month. And it's a perceived value thing. Like someone sees this, it's like, okay, if this is priced for $20, and then I see someone else's over here, it's priced for 50. Why is this one for 20? Is it made in China? Is it not as quality compared to the one that's for 50? So that price, it's fascinating, because I mean I see it at work all the time. Like I said, people that are buying a $250,000 fucking castle.
Yeah.
It's
and they're happy to do it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing that he showed me. He said in the French Riviera, there's a restaurant he went into. Went into this restaurant, and he went to order orange juice. Orange juice was $50.
Jesus.
It's like, why is it so much? And the waiter says, well, it's to keep the riffraff out of the restaurant.
Exactly. It's so true. It's like look at Starbucks. The Starbucks, their whole business thing is they sell to a very specific human being, and every that wants to go spend $6 on a cup of coffee, myself included. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the crazy thing about that is like on Facebook, I'll join a Facebook group. This cool Facebook group, and I'll go ahead and post a sea turtle pendant, and I'll put my price, my set price that I have on Amazon, and I'll get these people all the time saying, oh, I want to buy that. How much is it? I tell them the price. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't afford that. Can you please bring it down to a discount? Yep. I'm like, why am I spending time here? Why, when I just made 5 sales in 30 minutes on Amazon? Exactly. Yeah, I got over the DMs on my Instagram of people, same thing, like you have a 2-hour conversation with somebody and they get super excited about it, and then next thing you know, you've completely wasted 2 hours of your time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like the whole philosophy. It's like if they don't want to pay for it, then it's not for them. That's not that client that you're looking for. Exactly. And it just seems like for me, it's like my client is on Amazon because I don't have to talk to them about this. I don't have to waste my time if they either want it or not. Yep. Very simple. Yeah. It's beautiful like that. I love it. Yeah. I think it's a good choice to go with. I'm still sticking with it. I do have other ways of making income. I'm using wholesale marketing, like with Indeme and what's the other one? Fair? That sounds Fair. Right. Yeah, they're okay. I mean, I don't mind them at all. They're good, but I do like Amazon. I would love to get into the scene of going to these shows, doing more shows in the United States. I miss that. I really miss that as a kid, doing a glass show. I know the headaches and the heartaches that come with it, but I just miss them because they were just such good times at them. I'd love my kids to see what that's like, going to a show and teach them how to do a show and run a show and what it's like. And it's just fun. Yeah, it really is. And that, like for me, working at the Mouse House and having the exposure to the people, to humans. Yeah, it's nice because you're in a cave for so long, and it's like you forget how to talk to people after a while.
Yeah. That's why I love that idea. We're sitting there and somebody comes up to you and they don't know you. You don't know them, but they're connected to you because they love what you're doing. They're attracted to the flame,
Yep.
and they're fascinated at how does this work? And truth be told, for a while it was a dying art. It was disappearing.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad to see it's coming back. I really am. I saw it die. I seen it with my own eyes die out. I seen craziness, like going to just the typical lace work that you'd see in the mall back in the 80s. That stuff, my dad was doing that. He was doing a great job with it, but he was overselling, so he had to buy from other glass artists. He ended up buying from Mexico, from Tijuana. Those guys in Tijuana, they would crank out, like, say, a ship or a piano or a carousel. They'd crank him out and sell it to him for like $5. It's nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah. But the working conditions they were under, we went and saw the warehouse where they were in Tijuana. Kid you not, it's like a metal Quonset hut with inside the metal Quonset hut, like this nasty whole old rusted out metal for a roof, and they're sitting there on a bench and they're sitting on a wood stump, and they got their national torch tied down to the table with a bandana.
Good Lord.
And they're making lace work with this, and there's like 10 guys doing this, and this is the thing that kills me, is those guys are no longer around, and most of that stuff went to China, and the Chinese were fabricating this like a sweatshop. So
yeah, big time.
And I'm so glad that kind of disappeared, and now it's back to being real artists doing it all over again.
Yeah.
And yeah, like the market for hummingbirds, I can see those are coming back. Man, I made 1 million hummingbirds when I was a kid. I'm not exaggerating when I say that.
Oh, I believe it.
And it's just, and they disappeared, and that was my income. I had to leave it. But to see people, real artists in mom and pop shops making their own glass, it's just heartwarming. It's like, yeah, right on.
Yeah, it's been neat because I hear it all the time. Like, people are like, "Oh, it's a dying art." I'm like, it was." Like you're saying, like it was.
It was.
It's gone through this renaissance the last 20 years. And
Yeah.
going back to Chihuly again, like he was really instrumental in the home studio movement and giving us exposing the world to potentially what could be done in glass.
Yeah.
And then things getting cheaper to afford, and then the pipe industry grew to where it is now, which has expanded the color palette and. It's wild.
And I got to tell you, the pipe industry I'm totally blown away by the people that are making pipes. I mean, some of these guys are just beyond belief amazing what they're doing.
Yeah.
I wish. Yeah.
Like I said, like I went to the trade show thinking, I could recreate this again. And then I'm like, I'm ready to hang up my torch and go get a job at Walmart or something. Some days I see some shit, just the engineering that goes into some of this stuff. And then to be able to put it together and then have it function in a certain way. It's like,
it's functioning. I mean, like, how?
Yeah. I know, it's incredible. And then you got with Netflix coming out with the Blown Away show, which I wasn't really a huge fan of at first. I appreciate it, but it's gotten better. I think that's the third season. But again, it's one more avenue of things that have exposed people to what we do. And it's, it's pretty neat seeing it. And then the pipe community growing to where it is. And then you got, the cannabis laws are changing here and there, getting better and getting worse in some areas. But it's still it's just completely expanded everything that we have. Like, I couldn't imagine it being where it is now, even 10 years ago.
No, no way. And I think, like, if the manufacturers and the warehouses, like you got Mountain Glass, for example. I love Mountain Glass. They're a lot like Glasscraft, and those guys, guys like that, and there's others out there. Glassworks, I think, is one of them. Well Apparatus is another one I buy from for supplier. I think these guys, if they do more with the glass artists, I really think they could be even more successful. I mean, and they're doing it. They really are trying. I can see that. But like you got Glass Alchemy and North Star and stuff like that. If they would take the time to not just listen to one side of the glass art industry, listen to all sides.
Yeah, I agree.
Not that way they can get an understanding that how wonderful it would be to get an Amazon night rod that is 4mm or 6mm rod.
Yeah.
How awesome would that be?
Yeah, well, you can, like, I know, like, some of these companies, like, we go through, like, with Glass Alchemy, for instance, like, we'll go there and have a special batch made for us at a certain size that we need. But you have to buy, like, 30 pounds of color, of that one color, to have it made that way. You know, it's...
Right, yeah.
And not everybody can afford that.
Yeah.
Most people can't.
Exactly.
Shit's expensive.
Exactly. It would really help the industry, and we, not just the industry, but the art community. It would get newer glass blowers coming aboard, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I would be.
It's been interesting for myself personally, because you're kind of on a side tangent. I've been playing disc golf for 20 years almost now. And like
nice.
So with the way that the Professional Disc Golf Association membership wise, it took them 50 years to get to 100,000 members. My number is like 32,000 or some shit, which I actually come to find out I didn't even know I had a number, and I must have been super stoned one day and signed up and just completely forgot about it. Like, I put my email and they're like, "Oh, your email is already associated with a number," and my wife's registering herself. My wife now is like 200,000. Like they grew 100,000 new members during the pandemic, because people wanted to go do something. So this sport just exploded. Yeah. So all these manufacturers and companies are out there. There's like all this new stuff, and it's I've correlated along with the glass industry, because it's this small little niche thing that has just slowly grown, and then all of a sudden it blew up to where it is now. And these companies are finding that they are now at a point to where things are leveling off. People aren't buying as many discs as they were, because you know, just everything's flooded in a sense. You know.
Yeah.
But,
I love the glass craft had back in the day. I remember this. To promote more glass, they would create classes to instruct people, teach people how to do this, and that really helped the industry get more of the material out there.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say with disc golf too. Yeah, the same thing. Like all these, you're seeing these clinics that are happening now with their like pros that are older now, so they're not competing as much, but they're now opening up these disc golf like universities in a sense to learn how to play this sport. That's, you know, people are like there's pros now that are making $1 million a year in sponsorships and stuff. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
Throwing frisbees for a living. Yeah, it's it's incredible. So you know, you see that with the glass industry. If they could expand out and sponsor, you know, different niches within the world of the glass world, you know, and to get themselves exposed more.
Like, for example, I'll give you a pro tip, Jason. Like, if somebody out there is an entrepreneur, wants to make money, they could go to another country and become a glass blower supplier.
Yep.
And they'd make a killing.
100%.
Make a killing. Oh, yeah. Because we all buy from the United States. That's the only place we can get it.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because I think about that with discs. Was like years and years ago, my brother-in-law, him and I looked at getting into becoming a distribution company for Frisbee. And back then, the companies were there, but they had like small lines of discs, to where now it's crazy what's available. And there's a couple courses that I play, and you have to drive 45 minutes the other direction to go to a store if you want to buy frisbees for yourself. You can buy them online too, obviously, but like locally, there's nothing there. And there's this little tiny head shop that's right next door to this disc golf store park that I play.
That's awesome.
And I've wanted to go in there and talk to the owner about putting a little rack of discs in there, you know, to start selling some frisbees.
Oh, that's awesome. You know, when I worked at Intel as an IT specialist at their think tank headquarters in Fort Collins, Colorado. Outside their facility, on their property, they had a frisbee course, golf frisbee. I played. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and the engineers loved it. They all loved doing that, and so we had a lot of fun playing that. I miss that. If I get back to the United States, I would definitely get back into that sport.
Well, so Paul Macbeth he's a pro that's been around forever, but his heritage, he's Mexican, and he has the Paul Macbeth Foundation, and he's actually traveling the world and opening up courses in these little small communities. And Mexico was one of the first places that he went to. I'll send you a link to his YouTube thing.
Yeah, send me. That would be awesome, man.
Yeah, so
I'd love to take my kids there.
Yeah, totally. I want to say it was in like Guadalajara or not. Maybe so. I don't know. That my brain. Whatever. Yeah. That sounds like somewhere in New York. But
yeah.
But somewhere down there. I'll send you the link for it. But it's fascinating to see how this is expanding. And you're saying the same thing with glass. You go to this little tiny town somewhere.
Oh man.
You could start teaching the locals how to do glass work and find a new career.
Yeah. Seriously, you go if somebody here in Mexico, they could open up something here in a nice area, a good, safer area. Costa Rica is another one where they could set up. You could go to other places like in South America, like Brazil or Ecuador or Peru. It would be amazing, and you'd probably make a killing. You'd probably get a lot of people that are wanting to do this kind of work. They just can't get access to it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how. Yeah. It would be an awesome experience for them. And it's the same thing just across the globe. Like you go to Australia, you go to most of Europe. I mean, there are places in Europe, but it's not like it is in the United States where we can easily get our hands on something that we need quickly. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Heck yeah, man. Well, before we get into this little lightning round of questions here, is there anything else you want to touch on? Or
I think I covered a lot, man. Yeah. This was fun, dude. I haven't talked about this to anybody, and it's just kind of in my own little world and working. And so it's really cool to talk to somebody about the topic I love is glass. So
man, it was good chatting, and lots of topics. I'm sure like I said, people need help selling their work, and as much as a creative can create, it's not always easy for them to then sell. Yeah. And then having an outlet like this, like you're saying, you're not actually dealing with clients firsthand. You're just sending it to some robot out there at a warehouse that then sends it off.
Right. And and if you see anything, other topics that you want to talk about in the future, I would love to come back anytime.
Yeah. I would love to have you back on for sure.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. Well, let's take a quick break. We'll thank some sponsors. Okay. We'll come back, and it'll be time for us to crash the kiln. This episode of The Glass Blower's Companion is brought to you by the Glass Vegas Expo. Glass Vegas brings together some of the greatest glass artists and industry vendors all under the same roof with a respectable and heartwarming vibe unlike any other functional glass art show out there. With opportunities for artists to sign up for educational seminars, glass competitions, and trades, offering more time to mingle and to share the love of a common interest. Stay tuned to their website, glass.vegas, and follow them on Instagram at Glass Vegas Expo. That's at Glass Vegas Expo. All one word. All right, we are back. So this is the Crash the Kiln round. I've done it so long enough, and I still don't know how many questions we have, so I'm going to count these questions here. Let's see, 1, 2... I think it's 6. I don't have my glasses on. But anyways, so let's say 6 questions. I'm going to actually get a legit number one of these days and actually know how many freaking questions I have. But the first question I always like to ask, and I've always been interested in as far as your influence and artists out there in the world of the glass world, if there's any artist that's a living artist you haven't worked with yet that you'd like to work with and collaborate with, who is it and why?
Well, that question is really hard for me. I think there's 2 artists that I've always loved. I've grown up around their work. Is Mylon Townsend and there's another. What's the other one called? I see his work. I see it in my mind, and I can't remember his name now. It just left me. Mickelson.
Oh yeah, Robert Mickelson. Yeah, I was wondering if that's who it was. Yeah, generationally wise, those 2 guys definitely go hand in hand.
Oh man, yeah, I would love to. And I remember as being with my dad, he actually had a rapport with both those guys, and talked with them and worked with them and did a couple of classes with them, and they're amazing. Yeah. I'd also like to just get to know some of these pipe makers. These guys are amazing. Like Salt, for example, just amazing what they do, how they do it. It's just wow. I'm blown away, really blown away by them. If I could take a time machine, I would like to go back in time to these there was these two glass blowers in Boston in like 1890 that they created these museum pieces, and it was just for botany, and they made like flowers out of glass.
The Blotchka family.
Oh man, that's to me, just seeing those guys work, just how they did it without oxygen tanks, yeah,
you and about a million other people, because those guys died off with their secrets. And it's what's cool now though is that the fact that Harvard is actually restoring the work, and they're like, if you can if you come across their stuff and that you see out there in the world, like get it, and they will take it from you and make sure it's preserved. And over in Boston, like my wife's actually from Massachusetts, and when we were up there a couple times ago, we went up to the museum, the Science Museum in Boston, and they have a display of some of the Blotchkas working there. And I was looking at it, and I was like, looks like glass, but I wasn't sure. And then I got up close, and I was like, oh shit, that's jellyfish made by those guys. And it was my first time seeing it in person, and it was just it's incredible, the amount of detail. I mean, the fact that they were actually putting funguses on leaves that the scientists there could then study. It's like it's just boggling to me. It doesn't make any sense.
Like I saw a picture of one where the leaf had fur, like the little fuzzy hair, and every strand is a piece of glass.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Like, what?
And they're using like a Bunsen burner style torch, I've seen some people in Japan that use a similar kind of thing. It's neat.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, it's incredible. We're actually heading back up there in September, October, or something like that.
Nice.
I try and sneak away, and go to the Harvard exhibit. So I definitely want to go see that.
There was one glass blower my dad met that I didn't think there's any glass blowers out there he wouldn't want to meet. And he did meet Dale Chihuly, and he loves Dale Chihuly, and he's inspired by him. But there was a glass blower in Corning. Dad ended up in Corning doing a class there back in 2002, I think it was. And there was this Italian making a bumblebee. And this bumblebee was just like that technique.
Interesting.
Where that would have been awesome.
Huh.
Yeah. Really cool. I got to find out his name. And he couldn't speak any English, and my dad spoke Spanish, so they communicated with each other, because Italian and Spanish are 50-50.
Very similar.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Really cool.
Just FYI, we just got a 10-minute warning from
I just saw that. Yeah. Yeah.
Silliness. So that's good. Some good people to bring up for sure. Next question I'd like to ask, if you could describe the sound of glass cracking in one word, whether it's like a physical sensation it gives you or just that sound it makes, what would that be?
Thunder.
Can appreciate that.
I don't know why, just thunder.
Hell yeah. What are your top 5 favorite colors in glass?
Oh my goodness. Amazon Night color is mind-blowing. Let's see, caramel or butterscotch. I love that color.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Blue Moon. I'm working Blue Moon quite a bit lately. It's not bad. I think my favorite purple has got to be Stormy Weather by Momoka.
Interesting, yeah. Haven't used that yet.
Oh, you got to try it. It's really cool, because if you get the flame just right, you can go from a kind of a tip, can be like an orange, yellowish color, all the way down to a deep purple. Really cool.
Interesting. Is it opaque?
Yeah, it's an opaque. Yep.
Nice. So I think that's 4. Yep. You said 4.
That's 4. Okay, one more color. What's my other favorite color? Oh, going through them in my head, thinking about them. I gotta say, amber purple is still up there too.
Okay.
Amber purple. Yep.
Yeah, that's always on my top 5 for sure.
Yep. Nice.
Heck yeah. So, what's your worst injury in the studio?
This is funny. Worst injury. My worst injury wasn't really an injury. It was really funny. We used to run a ribbon burner, and we'd make like circles and hearts and ovals and diamonds, and put inside them, we'd put like a hummingbird with a flower vine, and I would make the whole thing. And I was like 19 or 18 at the time. And I was using the ribbon burner, and the way we would run it, we put it inside this old outhouse at our house in Rifle, Colorado. Why is it in an outhouse? I don't know. And we got this ribbon burner. Dude, this is hilarious. It was running on a vacuum and on propane. So it would push the air out with the vacuum and run a propane. So I go into the outhouse. It's the funniest scene. My dad was doubling over in laughter. He couldn't believe it. I turn on the propane, and then I turn on the vacuum, and the vacuum wouldn't turn on. Forgetting about the propane, I'm working on the vacuum. Yeah, I finally get the vacuum going, and I go over to the clicker, and there's that ribbon burner, and it's long. It's about 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet long. And so we put the rod over the top to heat it up, to bend it, to give it that shape. So I got the lighter, and I'm lighting it, click, 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 and boom. I mean, this fireball came out, and it consumed part of my hair on my face. It felt like this instant sunburn, and my eyebrows were completely gone.
Oh my God! At least the shit in the bottom of the outhouse part didn't blow up on you.
Oh, that's the funny thing, is that outhouse was supposed to be. It's so old that it's dried up. You can't smell it.
Yeah.
Nothing in there. Yeah, but yeah, it would have been really funny if it did.
Good Lord, have mercy.
Yeah, that's my injury.
So my question with that, the air part of it, was it filtered at all, or like how were you guys creating? Was it, I guess, enough oxygen was coming through that? Because I know like the ribbon burner is mostly a propane-y kind of flame, anyways.
Yeah. So we used a vacuum called a great company. I mean, these suckers were indestructible, from Electrolux.
Okay.
And my dad used to be a vacuum salesman, and he had the slogan, "Nothing sucks like Electrolux."
Oh, that's perfect. Oh, that's amazing.
I know. And so that sucker, I mean, it could really push out air. I mean, it did what it said it would do. It did a good job.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, because the only time I've really seen like the ribbon burners used are for folks that do like neon signs for bending the tubing and stuff. Yeah, interesting. You guys did it for that.
Yeah, we still do. We still do it that way.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Are they like little hanging kind of gimmicks?
Yeah. I want to bring them back. Eventually I want to try to promote them on Amazon or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you could set up a whole weddings category and do cake toppers all day long.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would love that idea. Do the big heart with the vine in there.
Yeah, a little couple birds on top.
Yep.
Huh, interesting.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's a crazy story. So when you're in the studio, do you listen to music, watch TV, or do both?
I do both. I like TV. It's like when I was a kid, Dad had this black and white TV always running, and he would work in a barn. He converted this barn into a glass studio in Rifle, and I remember watching every single episode of Andy Griffith's show, Next Generation, Star Trek. I mean, everything. Columbo. Yeah. So I like that because it's I know what's going on. I know the storyline. I don't really look at it, just listen. So I like that. But if it's like a Netflix show like Stranger Things and I'm into it, yeah, I can't do that.
Yes, I'm the same way. Next thing I know, like an hour's gone by and I haven't gotten shit done.
Exactly.
That's so crazy. Funny. Yeah, I mean, not being in the studio lately, so I should say like 6 months ago when I was in there more, I would just like not watch my wrestling shows, and I would binge them all together. And same thing, like I wouldn't necessarily watch them. I would just I love listening to the commentary and the story being told. It's fun stuff.
That's awesome.
Heck yeah. Yeah, plus listening to music for so long, I just got tired of listening to the music. And I love music, but just got burnt out.
Yeah, me too. I like podcasts. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and a lot of YouTube, like instructional stuff on YouTube, even glass corning, just listening. But that's the other problem is like glass corning or other glass blowers. I have to stop what I'm doing and watch because it's just too stinking cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah. So yeah.
Heck yeah. So, do you have any glass blowing themed tattoos?
No, I don't. I don't have any tattoos. No tattoos. Now, if I did, I would choose a hummingbird and a sea turtle.
Nice.
Yep.
Heck yeah. And last but not least, what are your top 5 favorite tools? And that does not include your torch or your kiln or your glasses.
All right. Number 1 tool is my grandfather. He's awesome. He's MacGyver.
He's a tool?
He's a tool. He's a MacGyver. Yep. He'll invent anything. So he invented these pliers. He went and got some knockouts from electrical box, and he took those knockouts, those little metal plates,
yep,
and he welded them to the pliers, and that's how I shape my sea turtles.
Oh, nice. Heck yeah. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. It's awesome little tool. I've had that for 20 years now, that tool.
Interesting. Is it stainless? Are they stainless steel? Like the little
stainless steel. Yeah. They're awesome. And other tools, like we've invented other stuff. Oh man, like we'll customize pliers all the time with grooves and notches in them so that you can grab the glass better. Yeah, like what other tool? I love my my awl. You know what the awl is? It's that poker, like the what metal is that? It's a special metal in there that you can't burn it.
Yeah, it's like brass or something.
Yeah, it's really good. I love that tool.
What would you use that for? Just like doing impressions and stuff?
No, like if I have to like shape like the mouth of my pendant, like around the mouth or the back part where I'm making a nice even circle so that I can get looking like a pendant for it to be a necklace. That makes it nice and even, perfect shape with that thing. Works great.
Nice. Heck yeah.
I love it. Another tool is going back to that ribbon burner. That ribbon burner I loved as a kid. I love that thing. I could crank out shapes by the hundreds in an hour. That was a cool tool.
Yeah, just having that nice long heat to heat up a rod the same temperature. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Really cool.
Huh. So you got 3 so far. Got 2 more.
3. Oh, 2 more. Okay. My claws. I can't live without my claws. And here's the thing is I'm teaching my kids to blow glass and to learn lamp working. But the thing that I get scared by, and when we were teaching other people, is when they grab the claw and they put it in the flame and you can just see the knuckle in that claw just starting to bubble.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's going to fuse into the glass. No. But the claw is a huge deal. I mean, just thinking about how you can grab a tool and use it so that you don't burn yourself while you're shaping glass. That's a good tool for me.
Yeah, same here. I love them.
Yeah.
And I have had many things I have made, though, have had little copper marks and burns and shit from those tips getting hot, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And like this one tool my dad surprised me with as a gift a couple months ago. It's like a roach clip kind of thing. Like
a little hemostats?
Yeah. And it's perfect for grabbing those little tiny pieces, a piece of rod, and you just want to continue. You want to keep going with it. You want to use everything. That's a perfect tool for that.
Yeah, one of my buddies I work with, he has a pair of hemostats that he uses for everything. Like if he's making like a Mickey head, he grabs the Mickey's ears out of the kiln with it, and they lock right onto it. You know, it's like super easy. I use a pair of tweezers, and I end up like they slip out, and I drop them, and so I gotta get a pair.
Yeah. Those are good. Love them.
Heck yeah.
You know what else we did with those going back to those pliers with the knockouts on them? My grandfather designed a leaf pattern in them. So, nice. You could buy those. We could buy those, but making his own leaf pattern actually looked even better on that than they do when you buy them, because you can put like little nuances in it to make it look really cool.
Yeah, I like to cut my leaves by hand, but I have used those presses, and I've noticed some of them are like too machined looking, like you're saying.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's nice to,
That's
if you could like create like the shape first, and then kind of go back and cut like the little veins and things in yourself.
yeah, yeah. Like, oh, that's another thing is I'm discovering the power of scissors. The scissors are awesome.
Yeah,
I haven't used. Yeah, yeah. I was trying those out, and they worked for a couple of my bigger pieces. They actually look really good to make a certain effect I was trying to get with scissors.
are you using shears or are you using like regular scissors?
No shears.
Yeah,
using shears.
So I've used regular scissors before. Like I used to go to the store and buy like the cheap ones, like you would like cut meat with or something like that.
Yeah,
Because I couldn't afford the shears at the time, and they were pretty good, but after a while they got kind of shitty. But yeah, it's amazing what you can do, little cuts and little patterns and stuff you can do with them.
Yeah, yeah, it really is cool. But okay, I'll tell you my number one favorite tool is another rod, using it as a punty.
Yes.
That is awesome. When you can make your rod that you're using to blow glass with to turn it into a tool. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, and I feel that way. Like early on when I started doing this, I wanted to be like caveman glass blower and have very minimal amount of tools like just the glass would be most of my tools. And that was like my whole mindset,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
And I would get around some of my guys at work, and they've got like a tool bag full of shit. I'm like, man, why do you need all those tools for?
What are you doing with that? Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't have that many tools either. Yeah, I may have like 6 tools on my desk. That's it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. So like bringing back Robert Mickelson, him and I did a demo together years ago down in South Florida, and we had our own little table setups, etc. And I look over at his bench, and the only thing that he had different from my bench was he had a blow hose and hand torch. And I didn't have that. But our tool set, we had a little spoon, had a butter knife, a couple little simple tweezers and shit, and that was it. And I was very excited to see that because I've always thought like I was too minimal. And then I see like Mr. Mickelson, genius master glass blower over here, same shit. And then I went back home and got the hand torch and the blow hose, which was a total game changer.
Oh yeah, we're gonna try that. I want to try that. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, even like a national, like that's what we use at work is like this little national hand torch for the hand torches.
Oh yeah,
super nice.
Oh, that's really cool. I got to do that. I want to get back into making stuff like that.
Yeah,
it'd be really cool.
Yeah, it's fun stuff. Hell yeah, man. Well, I'm sure we can sit here and talk for 3 more hours as Zoom keeps cutting us off behind the scenes here.
I know it. I love it. Thanks, Jason. Man, I just loved it.
Yeah, likewise.
Despite this podcast, talking with you about this, just too much fun.
Yeah, I agree. And I appreciate you coming on and helping me get this rust knocked off because I've been kind of putting it off and just, then the pandemic happened and shit. And I just got lazy. And, it's like I love this industry and I love what we do and I love talking about it, and in my heart, I was really feeling like I wasn't feeling it, but I knew like once I would get this rolling again, talking to you has been perfect because now I'm ready to record 14 more interviews. So So I definitely appreciate it for sure. And
awesome.
But before we let you go, dude, if you want to share with us where we can find you out there in the social media areas and the interwebs and your Amazon stuff, and I'll make sure all your links are in the show notes for everybody.
Oh, thanks, man. I'm my website that I partner with my dad is glassinfire.com. That's glass with the letter N and then fire. Okay. So, and I'll type that out so you see it later. And then it's the same thing for my social media on Instagram and Facebook. It's glassinfire_art. Same thing for TikTok, glassinfire_art. And on YouTube, I go by on YouTube. I go by the Glass Blog or Glass Vlog on YouTube. Yeah, and I'll share those links with you later. So very cool.
Heck yeah.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm just kind of curious. So I have a TikTok account, but I've only posted one thing ever. And then I did start up my Instagram and I started doing reels. And so I started making like $200 a month from people viewing my reels, which was killer.
Yeah.
But I've wanted to kind of because it's been, I probably haven't posted something in probably 5-6 months. So I'm at a point where I'm going to kind of reintroduce myself in a sense. So TikTok was how I was gonna do it, because I already have a pretty decent following on Instagram, but now TikTok's this whole new thing. So what do you specifically yourself? I mean, you're not obviously not doing dances and dumb shit like that? Are you just is it mainly just kind of your glass work?
Yeah, it's glass work. It's a bunch. You do get creative with it and go nuts. Like, say this is the coolest job ever, and then open up the kiln and show them this awesome sculpture, or do something silly. Say I'm playing with a lightsaber, something like that. I'm actually getting pretty good, and I haven't posted in a while on TikTok, but I get a lot of looks, a lot of likes on there. I find two kinds. If you do a mix of show your art and then show you making it, it works well, and be entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things. I do. My kids have done a couple of things on there too with me that were really successful. I did this one piece on there is not finished. I just showed it. I didn't even say anything, and I got over 5,000 likes within 3 hours. I don't know how that happened.
Interesting. Yeah.
Crazy.
It's weird, right?
Yeah. Yeah, TikTok is weird. I've been doing some research on TikTok, and they're trying to open up a shopping market on it. And I'd like to get into that. I'd like to jump into a shopping market if they open up in the United States. And it sounds like they're going to. So you know how on Instagram you can buy on Instagram?
Yep.
They're trying to push that with TikTok.
Nice. Heck yeah. I still haven't got a chance to or even look at the new one that Facebook put out. I can't remember what the hell it's even called right now. But it's basically like the new Twitter kind of thing.
Yeah. I've made a lot of money on Facebook. By groups, by joining groups, and then just showing my stuff on groups without even advertising. Don't pay for any advertising. Just join the group and say, "Hey, this is what I make. I hope you like it." That's it.
Heck yeah. That's good to know.
Really cool. What other ones? And YouTube is actually, I have a friend of mine who's helping me with my YouTube, and he's saying that you can make more money on YouTube than any others.
Yeah.
YouTube is really good.
Yeah. The big thing that which I haven't really promoted my YouTube at all, minus the podcast that I put audio in. I have some videos on there too, but yeah, you have to get like a 1,000 followers. I think it's like 10,000 hours of views before that you could then join the community where you can then start getting paid. So you got to really slowly work at it and just eventually get there.
Which I think is awesome, because once you get to the point, you got a little bit of income coming in on your residual from YouTube, which, heck yeah, that's great.
Yeah, residuals are the way to go. That's the kind of income that everybody should have set up for themselves, where you get an extra couple $100 a month in just from something you did a year ago.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Do that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Man. Hell yeah, dude. Well, that's a good way for us to end this on. And again, thanks again for coming on, and appreciate you sharing your journey and story, and hope people out there that are listening to this, and if you're struggling with your sales at all, you now have another outlet. And Amazon is something I've heard about and contemplated, but never really gave it much thought. So I'm glad we talked about this.
Yeah. Awesome, Jason. Yeah, nice to meet you, brother. I look forward to talking and hanging out with you someday.
Yeah, man, especially if you get your ass back down here to Orlando. We'll have to melt some glass together.
Yeah. I'll go play golf with you, frisbee golf.
Oh yeah,
I'd love that. You'd kick my butt, but I know I would have a blast.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Awesome.
So I hope you all enjoyed this conversation with Burt. Again, you can find him. All the links will be in the show notes for you to check out, and give Amazon a thought. We'll put the link in there too for the Amazon stuff. They have an actual full setup here on how to sell with Amazon. And it's pretty reasonable. Small little fee you can pay monthly and get yourself set up and start making some money. So until next time, thanks so much for tuning in to A Glass Blower's Companion. It's hot as hell out there, so stay hydrated, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace out.
Bye.